Hi, I'm Denise Santos with GSBA TV, and I'm here with Matt Elder, Director of the Homefirst Gwinnett Initiative with United Way. How are you today?
Doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So we do have a few topics to hit on, okay? Now, if you can tell us a little bit about the Homefirst Gwinnett Initiative.
Sure. The Homefirst Gwinnett Initiative was a collective partnership between the Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners, United Way Greater Atlanta, and the Primerica Foundation to come together to strategically address the issue of homelessness comprehensively. Our community, through leadership with Chairman Nash and our Board of Commissioners, identified homelessness as a large community need and one that we needed to really focus all of our attention and resources on to address in a new and innovative approach. So what the Homefirst Initiative is designed to do is to design a system by which we can help people who are in a housing crisis or homeless to get connected with housing providers and other organizations that can fill their basic needs and get them to the point where they can become self-sufficient.
Now, when you talk about addressing homelessness comprehensively, what does that mean?
So homelessness isn't a typical problem. It doesn't come in a box. So there's no box set of solutions. One of the most important things to know about it is that somebody can come from any kind of walk of life, any kind of shape, size, or color, and unfortunately find themselves in a situation of homelessness. And because of that, there's no set solution to what homelessness is. What we really focus on is the entire wraparound approach of homelessness. It's not about the housing solution, it's about all the other services that identify the basic needs, the food, the healthcare, the clothing and security, and bringing organizations together through a collective approach to really fully encompass all the issues that may be present and address those in a way. A great way to look at it is that when you look at the data for the state of Georgia on homelessness under the U.S. Department of Housing, their report of 2017 says there was just over 10,000 people who were homeless in the state of Georgia. But the Department of Education report said there's over 39,000 school children homeless in 2017 in the state of Georgia. So that kind of disparity, that kind of difference is exactly what we're talking about when we talk about comprehensively addressing homelessness.
Can you talk to us about that disparity actually in the data?
Yeah. So the reason there's a disparity for the most part is that the definitions of what is homeless at the federal level are not exactly aligned. You know, both HUD and the Department of Education agree that someone who lacks a fixed, safe and secure residence at night is traditionally considered homeless. Where they begin to diverge is that education also considers those people who are living with friends or family who are doubled up, or who may be paying for, or they stay in a hotel, motel, living in a trailer park, or living in substandard housing, also homeless. That's why you see the large jump in number, but that's why it's important to talk about it on a comprehensive level, that it's not just about serving people as from a housing perspective or from an educational perspective, but fully encompassing those people, those individuals in need, because when you talk to a community, when you get out into your community, talk to people about what the needs are, what they identify as a housing crisis, and we need to address that. We need to address it at a full scale, not just in limited portions.
So you're talking about the children of the families that are homeless.
Yes.
How is this affecting the students that attend schools?
So there's been countless studies done over the years about detrimental effects on students who are suffering from episodes of homelessness. The one that I most commonly reference is the American Psychological Association one, which found that homeless students are twice as likely to have developed a learning disability, to have missed school, a substantial amount of school, or to be suspended for any kind of, or to be held back and or suspended for any kind of disciplinary action. We also know, when you look at it, the data locally, that before a child even steps into school, by the time they're 3 years old, if they're in a high-income family, they're going to hear up to 40 million words by the time they're 3 years old. But in a low-income, impoverished, or homeless family, they're going to hear 11 million words. That kind of disparity before they even step in foot of any of our schools automatically puts them in a situation where they're playing behind. And that's why you see, when you look at the 2017 McKinney Vento report in Georgia, homeless students are traditionally 15 percentage points lower in terms of scoring proficient or above on our ELA and our math milestone testing scores. And it's an issue that we absolutely have to address, because it is having a detrimental effect on them throughout all their formidable years.
So you speak about addressing. What can local school boards and associations or communities do to help?
I think State Superintendent Richard Wood said it best in his speech a little while ago. What happens at home is not staying at home. It's imperative that local school boards and superintendents kind of follow his lead and follow the lead that we have in Gwinnett. Superintendent Will Banks and the school board in Gwinnett have been a fantastic partner of ours in our initiative, really data sharing, talking about best practices and new things that we're seeing in each other in the community, because we don't see the kids all the time when they're in school. We tend to deal with the family, the head of household, the parents when they're at home. So being able to collaborate on that and understand it. So what I would encourage any school superintendent, school board member to do would be to reach out to your local schools and identify what are they seeing on a school-to-school basis in individual communities. Reach out to those communities around them. Who are your service providers? who's providing what services. Is it food? Is it clothing? Is it housing? And begin to develop what we call an asset map of what's available to those families that are the most in need in your community, and how you can really begin to work within your schools, within your school board, but also within your community development or economic development, to really find ways to build those pathways to get people out of homelessness and out of poverty and onto prosperity.
Now, are there, for our viewers and our members, are there any websites or anywhere where they can go to find out more information about it?
Sure. In the state of Georgia, you can always utilize the 211 with United Way as a great way to connect with resources that may be available in your community. Locally in Gwinnett, we have a fantastic coalition for health and human services, which runs a helpline that's available for anyone to call. And there's also there's always a number of resources available through the Georgia education websites as well, and your local school boards traditionally have information available to you for any families that are in need.
Matt, thank you very much for talking with us today.
Thank you.